Bonjour and welcome to the second in what is my, I don't know, is it the Icons of Art series, maybe I should call it. First one I did was on Mick McMahon and his work on 2000 AD. This is going to be the second one, and it is on the work of Brian Bolland. And this is, I did say in the last one, we did do the Mick McMahon Apex edition. This is the Bolland Apex edition, which I know is a bit older. But if you haven't seen my first video on the Mick McMahon Apex edition, what I like doing is comparing it to, so this is the copies of the original artwork in like their, in their, as near as you're going to get to their original format. And I'm a big fan of 2000 AD. So I'm going to compare them, the original pages, to how it appeared in the comic in 2000 AD, because all of this artwork I've got in the comics they were published in. Yes, it is a geekyOlhog. So yes, I was there buying 2000 AD in 1977. Stuff like this. And we are going to get right into it. So, like I said last time, get the kettle on, sit down for this one, because I proper rabbit on. But do you know what? I love this stuff, and it gives me an excuse. Going through the artwork here gives me an excuse to dig out all the old stuff that they're reproducing here and bringing all the memories back. Now, you're probably going to be aware of Bolland's artwork, if maybe not the name. So whether or not you are a Bolland fan, or whether you are, you're in for a lot of thrill power, as they used to say. Top thrill power from 2000 AD. You're in for just a quick little soupçon of the type of stuff we're going to be looking at. I've noticed already. Look at our Bolland. Now this is Prog 17, so this is issue 17 of this guy, and he was just doing covers at the time. We're going to have a closer look at it anyway, but he signed his name as Bollo. And do you know what? I just didn't notice it. But anyway, he was doing a lot of covers back in the late 70s. He didn't start at 77, did it? And he is the one that, you know, if you're not familiar with Bolland's work, but it's synonymous with Judge Dredd. It is synonymous with Judge Dredd. The imagery that we have come to know and love, with Judge Dredd, we can't underestimate the impact that Bolland's art style in the early years had on. I mean, that's 1988, so literally, you know, and it does say in here how many actual pages of Dredd art he did, how many issues he worked on, and it's not many. It's not many. There are a lot more artists that have been a lot more prolific than Bolland, but something about his style, and particularly I think if you're a younger fan, you're going to know his cover artwork from was it Doom Patrol, and you know, the Animal Man, he's Batman, Catwoman, you know, killing joke. But this is Judge Dredd 2000 AD. So maybe at a future date this one goes down well. Let me know in the comments if you want to. You know, it's covers like this. This was all brand new. This was all brand new, and we're going to have a close look at it. And yeah, we're gonna stuff like this. We're gonna have a look at the Judge Dredd magazine. It's just all iconic stuff, but just particularly Dredd. We are gonna have a close look at. So, as the actress said to the bishop, let's have a good look at it. And if you are a Bolland fan, you know that he did a strip. We can have a look at this as well. This isn't just the Apex edition. I'm not letting you off that lightly. He did this strip, The Actress and the Bishop. So welcome to a lot of love for Bolland. Monsieur Brian Bolland. Join me after the scroll. Okay, everyone. Here's the little beauty we're going to be looking at. Apex Edition, just the Judge Dredd work of Brian Bolland. Last time round I done Mick McMahon, but that was his 2000 AD work. So we are going to have a look also at Mick's work on Judge Dredd. But I would say it is Dredd who you can just tell by this imagery right here. You can just tell, and if you've seen the Judge Dredd film, not the Stallone one, the oh, what's his name? Oh, here I go again, trying to get actors' names. The good Dredd film. You can just see how the imagery and the Blockmania and everything. What we know about Dredd now, what we see now is Bolland. It's Bolland's work. He made this character visually the icon it is. And as always, I love seeing this stuff up close because Bolland's artwork looks so, it's always so refined, and getting to look up at it this close, I mean, he's just a joy, to be fair. You know, when you can just see brush marks, and I mean brush marks, I just absolutely love it. These Apex editions are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Rebellion do such a lovely job of them, and David Roach, I think he's done all the ones I've picked up. Anyway, in the introduction, David Roach points out just quickly before we start looking at the artwork, he's drawn 41 Dredd strips, 46 2000 AD covers. I mean, it's just not a lot of, 40 odd stories is quite a lot, and we are going to have a look at all of this. Maybe not concentrate too much on the Water the Wobot at the end. Anyway, let's get on with it. We're going back to 1977, and Brian Bolland is getting. I think he worked for the magazine that Dave Gibbons did as well. South African comic, what was it called? Power Man. Yeah, Power Man comic. So his first work on 2000 AD was these covers. And like I've said before, the glorious reproduction showing how these comics were put together back in the day. So this board of artwork, look, you can see the Tippexing out. The board of artwork would be taken to the comic company, and look at where the art editor or someone, or maybe Bolland himself, has Tippexed out mistakes or extra space bubbles, whatever you want to call them, the Kirby crackle that he's put in here. Look, bits of Tippex. I just love seeing all this stuff compared to how I bought that on the news. And this is the actual copy I would have bought on the 7th of May 1977 at the age of, well, I wouldn't have been 10 until another 3 weeks later. So let's call it the tender age of 10 years old. This stuff was blowing my mind. A lovely colouring job. Don't know who would have done that colouring job, but that's a definitely a beautiful job. And like I said in the intro, how he signed his name Bollo. Very interesting. I hadn't noticed that little detail before. So there we go. You can tell how early days this is. And while we're here, guys, I'm just going to show you, they're not actually in here, but let's just have a look at some of the other covers he did. That's all. Flesh was a story about cowboys going back in time to send meat back. Future Earth needed more meat, so they basically harvested the dinosaurs. Very, very interesting story. Very gruesome, very violent. So there we go. That's a Bollo cover. Here's another Bollo cover, but now he's changing to Brian Bolland. So he's getting the work. He's progressing. And these were that one was for an ongoing series called Flesh. These super covers were generally like that is a Future Shock, which was just a short self-contained story in that issue. Another Brian Bolland cover, and now you can start seeing these, you know, the lines and flourishes that would make, you know, the preciseness of his work. I think you can see it now here. I really do, and particularly on a cover like that. So, you know, we're still only early days here. You know, we're still 1977, and he would. This is just putting this cover up there here now. It's just reminding me of one of the Dredd covers where he's got the mushrooms growing on him. I'll see if I've got a pile of stuff here, guys. An absolute pile of stuff. So I do hope you either love Brian Bolland or you're ready to love Brian Bolland, because I've got but I don't think I've got. I just think I've dug out the first 10 of the American reprints, but there was a cover. Anyway, I might have it. Anyway, so, but yeah, predated the cover I'm talking about, the artwork I'm talking about, by many, many years. And just one more cover before we carry on. Time Travellers from Titan. I love them. You just don't get that now, guys. So anyway, I just love going through this old 2000 AD stuff, which I know I've said before, if you watch the it was the first 10 years of this comic this was the best comic. It was just, in my opinion, one of, if not the best comic of all time. The first 10 years, weekly. That's a lot of work by a lot of great artists. And here we go. I don't know if this was his first Dredd story. Maybe should have looked to see if it was, but you can tell he hasn't really developed the iconic look that we will come to know and recognise. He's more in keeping here. This is from issue 41, so he's more in keeping with, you know, the style that's gone before, which many artists would have had to do. Don't get me wrong. You know, it's not just Bolland copying, or not that he can copy. He's got his own individual style, but even the Lawmaster isn't the style we're going to come very, very accustomed to, which is better. I don't like all this, you know. I like it when Bolland's giving it his own flourishes, and obviously this is how it looked when you pick the comic up. I mean, his art style was really precise, more or less straight out the gate. You know, when you look at some of this stuff, you know, you can tell that, you know, the wheels on the Lawmaster were going to get wider, weren't they? But yeah, a bit more. If you remember the film Death Race 2000, that's the kind of story you're looking at there. And another great super cover, not by, I think that looks like Brendan McCarthy. And just quickly, Dave Gibbons in the middle, doing Dan Dare. I mean, come on. Yeah, just great stuff. Again, I mean, this is when they started putting Dan Dare on the cover. Don't ask me why. I don't know what the idea of that was. Here's the centre spread of Dredd by Bolland in full colour. Not sure if this full colour is suiting, you know, on this newsprint, is suiting the story as we go. This is the actual artwork that we're looking at here. You know, these are the money shots that we would have all been loving when, you know, in the early days. So, you know, we're still talking, although we're talking about issue 57. Now, I think we're all used to the system of American comic books monthly, but don't forget, 57, we're talking just a year after he appeared in issue 2. So we're only talking a year after the character had been created. So, you know, this is early days. This is what I mean about, and this is more like our Bolland we know and love. This the Respirator. This, if you don't know, I'm just going to waffle anyway about Dredd. the respirator comes down, you know, if he's going to use gas attack and stuff. Spike. Spike, was it his full name? Spike Harvey Rotten? This would have been, look at this, lovely Bolland. I was going to say Bond then, Jake. You know, lovely Bolland stuff. The Cursed Earth saga was one of the first, if not the first, multi-part. No, I tell a lie. It was the Robot Revolution, Call Me Kenneth, and all that. That was the original multi-part crossover. So here we are with original pages and the lettering. Look how the lettering's faded, where you know the glues have come through, and you know, and it was all inventive, all very, very inventive, tongue-in-cheek stuff on Dredd. You know, they really were allowed to go for it. Bolland did love this shot as well. He really did love that shot. I'm just trying to find where. Sorry guys, have I got the right issue? Yeah, 65. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the page. Sorry. There we go. Just for the. And in England, just a little side note. In England, this was a Matchbox toy. I'll see if I can find some photo reference for it. And it wasn't. I don't know how they got away with copying this. It was the company was called Matchbox, and it was a small toy. And I'll see if I can put a photo up of it to show you what they blatantly copied. I don't know if it was a Thunderbirds or something like that toy that they'd copied, because it wasn't long after this. It was around this time that 2000 AD got in trouble with copyright with McDonald's, and you know, it's only recently they've been allowed to reprint those stories, and we're going to get onto them in a minute. So it isn't. I've just noticed that the cover's here. I know you can see it on the screen, but you know. And look at this lovely brushwork here as well. Look where he's blacking in. You can actually see all the blacking in he's done around the hair, and it's brush and ink. Don't know if he still does that. Love to know. Brian, if you're watching this video, please let me know. I'd love, and I would, you know, I wouldn't, I would still love you if you're now moved on into the modern tech world. Look, you can see it all again here. I don't know if it's going to come up on the camera, guys, and I'm just pointing and gushing at more Tipex here and the little tails on the speech bubbles. You know, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just mad loving that stuff. We done Mick McMahon last time round, but here's a brilliant cover by McMahon for the issue that this appears in. Here we go. Look, more Bolland centre page spreads. I mean, we were spoiled, weren't we? Part 9 of the Cursed Earth. And Tweak, this alien Tweak. I don't know. It wasn't. Was it Pat Mills? Yeah, it had to be, didn't it? Pat Mills got some really good storylines in here with Tweak, an alien slave, and he's a he's got ESP, precognitive abilities, etc., and he's like an empath as well. I mean, look, yeah, like yeah, Pat Mills got some beautiful storylines in on that. It wasn't all about. I used to love it. When I thought I fancied myself as a comic artist back in the day, I used to copy this effect of the bullet burst out of the back of bodies. I used to try and copy Bolland's work. Yeah, that didn't go very well. Just beautifully, wildly imaginative, creative stuff, as always, from 2000 AD and Pat Mills and Bolland. And it really, you know, just the lawgiver in silhouettes, that just stuff like this. You know, now he's rounding out the lawmaster, etc., etc. And here's where we start getting into trouble with copyright. It's the Jolly Green Giant, and it was just part of the storyline that used the icons of the day. Look, we've got Colonel Sanders here. I can't think of the detail of the story now. I don't know if it was someone was mucking around with genetics, and they've created all these creatures. It's this guy here, it's Colonel Sanders, that's created them, I do believe. But get back to me anyway. The Jolly Green Giants are helping old Colonel Sanders out. They must have had a ball on this. They really must have. You know, he's getting his all his shoulder pads and all that, getting beaten up on the way through. It looks like Brendan. It says Brian Bolland. Some of this looks like maybe Brendan McCarthy might have, or Brett Ewins might have inked some of it. I don't know why that just doesn't look pure Bolland to me. This one here, I don't know why. But it looks, you know, it doesn't credit anyone else. So, you know, maybe that's just me going mad. But these are the original pages that I just want to show. They would have come out, you know, obviously all this would have looked, you know, it was just a printing process. And there is that page for you there. I mean, wow, could we get away with characters like this now? Oh, even though it is a vegetable, but there you go, probably even worse. Dredd going, or the cliffhanger. Oh, the days of the cliffhanger. Oh, here we go, Michelin Man now, as if we can't get enough. I don't know who this one was. I mean, some of these may have been American, maybe. This was on the Peanuts in England. I do remember that. So yeah, now we've got Michelin Man going for Dredd. Oh, happy days. Oh, this is interesting because this is in full colour. I really detested this game, this Cursed Earth game, and how they wasted a page of story just to do this. I really, that much I do remember. How weird is it that I remember that after all these years? I remember detesting that. I wanted me double page spread. I wanted me Bolland, you know, Mick McMahon or my Dave Gibbons in the middle. But you know, that was when we were spoiled. We were spoiled, so it's quite interesting seeing that in colour. Love the cover of this as well. Not that it's got anything to do with Bolland, but this, for some reason, this blew my mind. How they did, and that, you know, all the different, you know, Saturn, all the different prices down here: Mercury, Pluto, Neptune. Something about that. It's really weird, isn't it? How you remember certain things. Robo Hunter, Ian Gibson, although he's got Ferrer, I think he's only inking another artist, so we won't, you know, that's not probably not, you know, the halcyon days for 2000 AD all the time, every single issue. There we go again, look, with all the little bits of Tipex and stuff, and all the blacking out, all the silhouetting. You know, but Bolland took a long while over his artwork. You can tell the preciseness of it. You know, just absolute preciseness of the shadowing. You can just tell. And this looks a different colour. I don't know if he may have just used a thin pen just to quickly do the detailing on the again, we've got that burst, that bullet burst, which I could never. Oh, poor alkaline tablets are getting it. And that was the end of, well, that wasn't the end of the Cursed Earth, but the next epic that the Cursed Earth left onto was the Judge Cow saga, which was a lunatic despot who was he's gonna take over Mega City 1 in future issues. But this is how it starts when he comes back from the Cursed Earth, and by a twist of you know, by a twist of mad fate, he's getting charged for murder. And that was in this issue, which was the first issue from Star-Lord. 22 issues of Star-Lord, which introduced the Strontium Dog and Roadbusters. It didn't work out. It was on a high quality paper. I'll have to do a video on it because, again, that blew my mind at a certain age. To get, when you think of the comics, the British comics were predominantly black and white on this newsprint paper. Star-Lord went for a nice glossy sheen and a lot of colour in there. Yeah, and it was proper good. So here we go. Dredd first up, which this stuff reproduced so well, didn't it? Just like the minimal shadowing down there. You know, knowing that he's got to leave space for the lettering. And also, another thing I used to love and try and copy when I was copying Bolland's work back in the day was this bubble effect, the light on his shiny, on his shot, on the sheen on the helmet. Yeah, it was really annoying. It was very, very annoying. Another marvellous McMahon cover for this story. I think it'll be first up, yeah. And the Clegs. And Gary Leach inked this work, and you can tell because he's really, I mean, not that Bolland is a light artist, but you can really tell that Gary Leach was very dark. His work on VCs as well in this comic. You can tell that Gary Leach, it just looks darker. Even the grey toner, actually, I don't know. I don't think Bolland was a big user of that. I don't think he used it. So he certainly did stamp his mark. Gary Leach on this artwork. I'm just trying to find that page. It's in the next. Yeah, it's in the next issue. But this is Judge Cal, who, you know, just the classic psychopathic villain. But I used to love the Clegs. What basically Cal has done is, because he's had to kind of do away with half the judges, because half the judges are against him, because they know he's obviously off his nut. He's brought in these alien mercenaries. Yeah, here we go. He's the proper, you know, hello, congratulations and goodbye. You know, anger to. And that was their cry, their song. That must have been invented by, there we go. That was a great cover. These were good times. I really did enjoy this comic. I really did. Well, and still do, through you, really, through you guys. I'm getting to enjoy all these, you know, regularly all over again. You've got this bullet splat, the bullet splat again. And you can tell how he, you know, he did love this. We've got our, you know, all the kind of Bolland Dredd bits that we've come to know and love. This would have been too much cultural appropriation, I think, nowadays. There we go. There's the alien Clegs, and that's how the original artwork looked. All the pages yellow. I wish I had a page of this stuff. And again, everything laid out nicely, you know, balanced, precise. No, and I'm just saying that with great love and affection. Don't get me wrong. You know, it's why we love the guy's art. There's that page. And again, we got some brilliant Uggs and A's and U's. Oh, the day the law died, you know, the Judge Cal saga, whatever you want to call it, in the next prog, and you can see the hilarity that ensued sometimes with this character of Camelot. He wants to make a film of his ascendancy of his life, and these are the actors that he's getting in to tell the story that Judge Dredd, and then obviously the midget will do. So he's the actor that's going to play Judge Dredd. Have the others put down. Slocum is the SJS judge, Special Judicial Services judge, that is his right hand man. And now, obviously, in the comic, he has got to find an actor that's going to portray him. So in this issue, he finds the actor he wants. Look, so that's the page we've just seen. So because these pages aren't in here, so let me quickly just go through. They find the handsomest man in Mega City 1. Look, they say he's the handsomest man in the world. And he says, look, I know he doesn't make, he's retired, he doesn't make pictures anymore. And he goes, oh, that's such a pity. Don't damage the head when you remove it. And then he changes his mind. He'd love, I'll do it. Filming will start immediately. And the file will trade anyway. I just thought that, you know, it was funny. It was good. It was so tongue-in-cheek stuff. Look how beautifully ominous Bolland makes the clicks. It's just great stuff. That's why we love Bolland, isn't it? Look in the background there. And he's using the old grey tone stuff. So, you know, maybe I was wrong about perhaps he was just still playing with his style. Just quickly, guys. Nice stuff. That looks to me like a Dave Gibbons cover, an early Dave Gibbons. You know, this is only 1979, but look, he's on Roadbusters. That was a great, with the Terramex. This was a great storyline. And it's all pure Dave Gibbons. This is how spoiled we were. Then we've got Bolland on Dredd, as we've seen. You know, this great artwork. And he's going down into the sewers to meet Fergie. This is going to be one of the characters in the day. Another irritating double page waste of colour for me. I would have rather had more story. Ian Gibson on early Robo Hunt. This is his earlier style, where he's just that little bit, he's a little bit rawer. But you know, obviously just refined his style more and more and more, Ian Gibson, but nevertheless still a beautiful thing to behold. The detail in this stuff. And then more Dave Gibbons on down there at the back. So you can't whack this comic. You can't whack it. In issue 102, obviously, like I say, he's meeting Fergie. In this issue, this again. I love this tongue-in-cheek stuff with the sci-fi, but it was poking fun at everything from governments to the judiciary to police, everything. This comic, you know, in stories like Robo Hunter and that. There we go. This proper punk rock. These look like the Morlocks, don't they? But nevertheless, I don't know if he was told. If he was told, look, King Fergie, but he's just an outrageous character that, you know, John Howard brought into it, because all the judges have had to go into the sewer system to hide from Judge Cal, who's coming down. So, like I say, it was a civil war between the judges. Yeah. Again, you can see all the tails, literally how wobbly they were in Tipex. But when you read the comic, you weren't looking at the tail. How, you know, oh, how naughty must that have been, going over Bolland's artwork with a load of Tipex. Needed a steady hand with that, I tell you. Oh, the back cover. There we go. Bolland Fergie, outrageous character in full colour. How about that? Look, the colourist even put some blood on his jeans for effect. So I was just looking at the badges there. Now they got a little Batman one in there, didn't they? Yeah. And one that was just for the back cover. This was a great storyline, this one. And it, for a while, 2000 AD changed its format. It went to, and I did love it, as well, you can tell it's gone to a slightly slicker newsprint. Look at Dave Gibbons' artwork's coming along lovely now. You know, getting that style we come to know and love. And it's a bit narrower. So, you know, but it looks so much better for it. Yeah, Bolland's work in black and white. And again, detail in everything. Fine line, brushwork. You know, Punks are all okay, and Dredd's got to go in. You know, they're holding court. Of course, it's gonna, you know, Hall of Just Us. You know, it's gonna kick off. I used to love these one-off Dredd storylines, and you kind of needed them in the, you know, in between the bigger. That is what you call an iconic shot of Dredd, right there. That's what you call the Bolland artwork that sealed the deal on this character. For me, anyway, that's the one. That's what you call a money shot for me. And this was just a great storyline. Like I say, tongue in cheek as well as chain in cheek makes him say, "I'm a cheap punk." You know, and that's the American use of punk and the British use of the word punk, which is obviously to do with music, the punk rock movement and stuff. Hot Shot, classic stuff. Classic Bolland, classic Dredd. Look at that. It's just fun stuff. You can tell I'm having fun with this lot, can't you? You can just tell. There's a back page spread, issue 118, which for some reason I didn't dig out, but I don't think there's anything more to say apart from what a classic image that was. I mean, I don't know how quickly Brian would have kind of knocked that out, and I don't want to take nothing away from him and his skill, but he must have been able to do images like that at this point in his career. He must have been able to do that in his sleep. Again, this is what I used to love and try, and there was something about the fact that not that I realised this when I was a kid and I was trying to copy, but why the visor, you know, would stick out so much. There's an element of realism there amongst this ridiculous, you know, I like the tread on the top. Now we're seeing this is the Lawmaster. And bearing in mind, you know, we're on prog 120 now. Nice Gibbons cover there, Dave Gibbons. And we are, so, you know, issue 120, we are into, over 2 years, and he's really got his style now. You know, but Bolland is really into it now. And, you know, the jaw, here we go, you know, the iconography of it all. You know, these are beautiful angles that he'd get. Is superb, and this cryogenic, this motif is going to be on a cover. This, particularly this image here, he goes back to the cryo chambers, and there we go. There's the this. I'm finding actually we've got the zipper tone here, which obviously were. So I don't know. I don't know what happened here. That's quite interesting because he's obviously used zipper tone in the Lawmaster's light and there, but the art editor has had questions because he or she has been all right with it there. So that's quite interesting to compare and contrast. My little idea to look at 2000 AD in all its glory. The Forever Crimes, this story was called. There we go, and there's the last page of that. he was resurrecting people that were in this wonderful shots like this. This reminds me of what we're going to be coming up to shortly, which is Gaze into the Fist of Dread. Those slim panels, you know, probably one of the most famous comic panels of all time. Great character designs here as well. Father Earth, that was called. Let's just take a quick look at this classic issue of 2000 AD and Star-Lord with a Dave Gibbons cover in this nice new format, with a slicker paper. You've got a Bolland Judge Dredd. Then you had like one of Throwaway Stories, Savage. Then you've got Brendan McCarthy on ABC Warriors. It doesn't get better than this, guys. Who went on to do the Mad Max and Fury Road designs. Just love this. I just love this stuff. And then we've got Project Overkill. And do you know what? I can't even remember this story, but it had Ian Gibson doing the artwork. So anything with Gibson doing the artwork is fine by me. But I don't remember. I do not remember that story one iota. So it couldn't have been great. And then we got Dave Gibbons again on Down There, which was his, you know, his kind of his main one. Oh, look what's on the back. Stop. They were the stars of Star Wars. Yeah. So we're back on 2000 AD issue 122 with this nice Kevin O'Neill cover. And here we go. Father Earth. Again, another one of those stories between the big epics that were just self-contained, just great stuff. This is class now. But Bolland, like I just said, he's really getting into his stride with stuff like this. And bearing in mind, this is still late 80s. You can see, this is late 80s, isn't it? Or is it early 80s? Oh, blimey, we're not even in the 80s yet. You can really see that Bolland has come right into his own now with his own style, this stuff. I mean, can we say his style has changed much from here to now, 1979? And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm not saying that is, you know, I'm here to praise the man, and here we are with his glorious artwork. That's not what I'm saying at all. But he just found his style, and he's comfortable with it, and so are we. again, I used to love all this stuff. Wires coming out, not just you know, a shattering or an explosion that doesn't, you know, the little details. It's almost like you can see nuts and bolts. Oh dear, the robot saying, oh dear. How very Star Wars, to be fair. Now this is absolutely beautiful. I remember this story when it came out. And the fact that they're using that the weather system in Mega City 1's gone wrong. So you've got two and how creepy he made it. I like the way that this lettering here, that looks like Bolland did that, because it looks like it's been done in Tipex. So either Bolland did it or the actual letterer took it. Who was it? Tom Frame? Yeah. Took it upon themselves to, you know, vandalise the artwork. Or maybe I'm wrong there. I wish someone would get in touch and let me know. But yeah, what a beautifully evocative story. How they've managed to, how John Howard has managed to get a gothic horror story into Mega City 1. Brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it, with tongue firmly in cheek. And look who, you know, the villains. You know, Boris Karloff is there. I don't know if was it Lon Chaney Jr. who done the Hunchback. But there's all, you know, he's even saying the bells. They're obviously droids. That you can tell by the way it's been it's been lettered. Oh, I thought that was Max Normal then in the back. Sorry. Right, but let's look at the original artwork with tons, because it's on a foggy night, with tons of the zipper tone to give it that grey, moody feel. And I'm assuming Bolland did that. Brian, I would love for you to tell me if you watched this video, please, or whether it was. Surely it couldn't have been the art assistant. I mean, and I'm assuming it's zipper tone. Maybe it's all been whited out. I don't know, but put this in your pies. And you can see there's been a mistake in the lettering there as well. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can on the camera. I don't know what that would have been beforehand, but that they've gone over it with the new lettering. Oh, Tom Frame's gone over it with the new lettering. And like I showed you in the actual comic, here we go. It's, you know, I think that was Lon Chaney, wasn't it? And Boris Karloff. Tongue firmly in its cheek. Nothing wrong with that. There is the cover, as it would have came out in 1979. I don't know what that Prog 146. Have I got that with me? Here is, just quickly before we do. Oh, let's just do that first then. And there is the cover for that. By this time, guys, Tornado had joined, and famously, Dave Gibbons used to dress up as a superhero because back in that day, British comics just needed the editor to turn up every week and do the letters page and stuff, a bit like the Stan Lee effect. And I think this is a beautiful cover. I really do. Just how, all right, we know that these streaky lines are going to give you that feeling of rain, but I just like that small amount of, you know, that can be overdone. So can a splash on his badge. All this can be overdone. I wonder if that is just a bit of just a fleck of kind of Tipex, because, you know, whatever way he was doing these lines with a ruler, yeah, I just think that's a beautiful, beautiful effect. That's how it would have been on the newsstands. Oh, start of 1980. Great stuff. And here's just quickly, this isn't in the book, in the Apex edition, but there is another Bolland cover, wrap around. Obviously Close Encounters of the Third Kind down the bottom there, and then all the different characters that would be appearing in Stainless Steel Rat, Gronk from Strontium Dog, Black Hulk, Mongrel and Hammerstein from the ABC Warriors, Rojaws, Dredd, obviously, Tharg, the editor, and the Wobot. Yeah, we'll come to that at the end of the Apex edition, but there won't be a lot of love coming from me, I'm afraid, gang. The Judge Child. John Howard's maybe his finest hour. This was the cover to this issue, announcing it. I'm not sure whether or not that is a Bolland. I've only just this moment thought to myself that isn't Bolland. It's a Bolland clone. It's like the art director, whoever it was at the time, has either got an artist or mocked it up himself. As always, glorious Ian Gibson, Robo Hunter, and he really is coming more into his stride now. I mean, but these look almost abstract, don't they? Some of this stuff, but he's definitely getting into his stride. Cam Kennedy on the VCs. These were the halcyon days. And here we go. This is what you're here for, Bolland. You can see that coloured. Nice job on the colouring. To be fair, I think that is definitely a nice job on the colouring. It was very, you know, it does. You know, a lot of the time I've said of this artwork that, you know, it looks better in black and white. I've got to say, that's a beautiful, not overloaded at all on that. I like the fact these are colour. I mean, I don't know how that worked out back in the day. I would just assume that all this would have just come out black, but somehow they've used Tom Frame has used different colouring on the lettering. Lovely stuff. And again, we are, I say, or rather I should say, we are out of Mega City 1. And we're in out, well, we will be going into outer space. Instead of going into cursed Earth, we're going to be going into outer space, so we can bring in all these weird and wonderful characters and set Dredd against them, which I think is a brilliant idea. I think it's an absolutely fantastic idea. Actually, just realised. So it's that image there that they've blown up and used as the cover. So it is in effect a Bolland cover. It's a shame that panel isn't there, and I could have compared it to the actual cover itself. But you can see that is just they've just literally cut the panel out and blown it up. Wow, done the cover on the cheap, eh? Again, this is all your classic is Hershey. Who was introduced, I think this was Hershey's debut. Having said that, now she's a character in her own right. And classic Bolland look. Classic Bolland look on the female characters, I will say that. This is for me anyway, it's classic and nothing wrong with it. Plenty of action shots here. And this cover, I mean, guys, this cover, it doesn't look like, I don't know if the technology existed to stretch an image. I think this has been handballed. This has been measured and stretched. I do believe that. And what a great cover. Anything to report, Lopez. And again, I think that's another great colouring job on this one. Inside, the Jigsaw Man, Bolland really showing off, I think, anyway. And why not? I think he's really, but by now, stylistically, he knows exactly where he is and what to do with this stuff. It's almost, I'm sure there's an art form that this is, and it isn't cubism, is it? But I'm sure there's an art form that look at this stuff. I can see a little bit of Alan Davis here, and obviously Alan Davis came after Bolland, so I'm not saying that Bolland's taken anything from Alan Davis. I'm literally saying it the other way around. There's something really madcap about all this that I love, but that is also pure 2000 AD, all this stuff. Pure 2000 AD. And Bolland couldn't really do an ugly woman, could he? No, I can't remember him doing an ugly woman anyway. And here we go. That's cover 2 original. Again, looks like a nice colouring job, I think, anyway. And he's gone all abstract again, so he must have been having a ball with some of this stuff. What did we get in this issue? We've got Carlos Ezquerra Angelina from Stainless Steel Rat, an adaptation of Ray Harryhausen's stuff. Here's Bolland centre spread again with the Jigsaw Man saga. Who's that? Jesus Redondo? Is that Jesus Redondo? Yeah, Redondo and Morton. Here's the stainless steel rat adapted from Harry Harrison's books. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed this. And I hadn't read the books. And I did read that. This story made me read the books. And Ezquerra on top font, as always. He was never on, a bit like Bolland, really. He was never on bad font. Ever. To be fair. Ever, ever. And that's why he has got the reputation he has. Never. So, there we go, guys. Some moody, evocative panel there. Judge showing emotion. Yeah. Love it. Absolutely love it. And here we go. This. So after the Judge Child, it is Dredd is back in Mega City 1. Now, what's this? Oh no, I think it was when he returns from another mission where he's wandering. The story is him wandering through Mega City 1. And again, this is the iconic stuff. Especially these are such famous. These blocks are under arrest. You know, it's one character sums him up exactly. You know, the fist, lawgiver, everything kicking off. Absolutely. It's just bang on stuff. Here we are going inside. Here we go. And again, all of the lawgiver stuff's there. We've got the zipper tone. We've got to have a look, haven't we? They kept it in. In fact, they've added. Oh no, that's just a grey colouring, I think. But no, kept the zipper tone in and coloured over it. So this is very McMahon-esque, I will say, for Brian. But there we go. Nothing, and again, nothing wrong with that. Bolland's his own artist, so he's not copying, or there's nothing wrong with that at all. And again, another good colouring job. Yes, it is. The block war kicking off. And that would have been, this would have been him for a while, I think. I think he kind of, I think he had a little while off, you know. It was 6 months, because it did feel like a long while from this storyline to when he come back with this one. And it looked like, you know, just a slight refinement on his style. But like I said on the previous cryogenic storyline, with a guy in the cryo chambers, this motif's come back. You know, he's using it again on the liquid nitrogen. And obviously a classic bit of wording. But again, this is the one that defined it all, really. This is the one when, before we just go on to Judge Death, just a quick little comparison to the actual comic. I will just quickly show you the back page here. New Mean Arena series starts soon. Look who it ain't, artist-wise, Steve Dillon. And in I think he was only in his late teens. And this is another artist. I will be doing his Apex edition when it comes out later in this year. But this is another artist whose style almost come out of the bat fully formed. A bit like Bolland. What we've been through so far in his formative, 3 or 4 years, hasn't really changed much. And oh my God, look who's in this issue doing this Dredd story. Colin Wilson, who went on to do a lot more work in Europe and stuff. Another artist whose style I loved. He'd done work on this and Rogue Trooper, and particularly vehicles and the city scenes. I thought were beautiful. Great artist, Colin Wilson. Look at this stuff. And you know, they are now doing Bolland's designs. That's what I mean about Bolland's work on Judge Dredd, kind of forming up into the Bible on how to do the character. And it's as simple as that. You just can't get away from that. But yeah, I can't wait to do. So here he comes, Judge Death. That's obviously a poster art, but here he is. Judge Death lives. That was in August '81. So by now we you know, he is a superstar in his own right, Judge Death. The Gaunt Affair. Oh God, we can't. Kevin O'Neill. I'm talking harder. Now, obviously, Judge Death appeared in the earlier 2000 AD, because it means that Anderson gets put in the Boeing to trap her, and then it all kicks off when it's cut, and he is unleashed on Mega City 1 again. It's stuff, you know, stuff like this. Look at that. I wonder how long it took him to do that. I know there's a lot of black there, but nevertheless, you know, don't just black it all out, dear, and get on with it and just put fingerprints there. I like the fact that this whole thing has fallen off. Absolutely stunning. Let's just quickly look at, this was the first ever reprint edition, an album, graphic novel format of Dredd stories. And this was all Bolland stuff, all John Wagner's and Bolland's, and this reprints the first Judge Death story, which isn't in the Apex edition. So let's just quickly have a go. This cover was obviously done specifically for this, released by Titan distributors in 1981, in June, I think this was. Signed by the two great men themselves, which also used to take these up to Forbidden Planet back in the day. So yeah, signed by, I think we just had this in the Apex edition though, so now we know where that come from. I just thought that was I think that's at the beginning of the Apex edition. And here's Judge Death. This was classic stuff, reprinted from issues 149, 50 and 51. And this is what, you know, a superstar character, superstar villain, Judge Death, that has stood the test of time. I love this take on the judges coming through the night time, you know, setting the tone at night because it's Judge Death. You know, here's a nightclub scene, you know, kind of just seeing him in silhouette. What a great character. I like all the way that the lights are done in night time. You know, a little splash of water, just seeing a nice moody scene. And what another iconic panel. Like I say, some of these, here we go again with the bullet explosions we've come to know and love. Just great character, just all great character designs here. Introduction of Judge Anderson, who saves the day. And again, some of these are iconic characters. To be fair, and it's only a 3-part, you know, which does, when you look back on things, you know, the impact that this character had from just 3, you know, a 3 weeks worth of story, you know, how many pages? 17. We're on the 17th page. That's probably 15 pages in the comic, 5 pages a week. Awesome. So yeah, there's a nice bit of artwork there as well for Judge Death. We're just looking at him and his character design, aren't we? So I like that better than the old smoke, but obviously that's a better. And again, I mean, what a you know, what an advert for returning in book 2. Just the guy he just summed up the character, didn't he? And here he is. That's obviously the last page of this story, Judge Dredd Death Lives. So we have kind of come forward. This is probably about a year and a half later. You know, he's obviously made an impression. Nice double page spread. Bolland, don't know about the colouring on this. Yeah, it's just one of those scenes. I don't know about all this green and bluey. Don't know. You know, I don't think it completely works. But obviously in black and white, looks nicely moody. Nicely moody. You know, we lied. He promised you to kill. He would help. You wouldn't kill her if I helped. So he's obviously the traitor that has unleashed. He's obviously unleashed the rest of the judges. Fire, Mortis, and so you've got Death, Fire, Mortis, and the other one. No, Death, Fire, Mortis. Anyway, doesn't matter. I've got a nice nemesis, Kevin O'Neill, up to his bonkers best. Look at all this stuff. Again, spoil. You know, so you've got Bolland, Kevin O'Neill, bit of Carlos Ezquerra there doing the Gronks. Enough of that, though, eh? The Dark Judges. Let's get back to the Dark Judges. Here's the cover next week for Prog 225, Billy Carter block. Fear. So we've got Fear, Mortis. Is it Fire? The 4 Dark Judges. Here we are carrying on from last week. That's a better colouring job. Still something not quite. Again, I think this was... Let's have a look if this works better in black and white. I mean, these scenes here. You know, he's in the shower. So we've got a little bit of Psycho going on there. I love this. Love these 2 panels. Greetings. Is that in here? Yeah, see, this is a nice setup, actually. I mean, this panel, these 2 here, these 2 here. Obviously, Fear's got him, and Death has got him. This is going to be a nice payoff later on, isn't it? We all know what's coming here. This is a great scene. I mean, stuff like this now, thinking about it, you know, look at the great, and not an overuse of a panel break in the same picture either, because obviously they just want to give you that and the sound effect and then the speech. So, you know, a worthy, because that's an overused technique nowadays. Little bit of sorry, a little bit of Hitchcock going on there, and Anderson's back, and again, never does an ugly woman. And it's all intense stuff. It's all very well accomplished, intense. Bolland, as we know, you know, just delivers. The guy just delivers. Issue 226, which this page is from. Here we go with Mean Arena, Steve Dillon of Preacher fame. And like I say, he was only in his late teens when he was doing this. We've got Ezquerra on Strontium Dog. You know, what a comic. You've got Nemesis, Kevin O'Neill. Oh, look, he's dark. He's darkest best. We've got Gary Leach on a Future Shock. And Gary Leach, by the way, if you do not know, kicked off, look at that, it's just a 2-pager. He's the one that kicked off Miracle Man back in the day. Look at that. So, you know, they called it a postergraph, but that I can put up with that. all day long, and the different effects that the different judges are having. So we've got fire, fear, mortis, and death. Yay! I knew I'd get there eventually if I opened up enough comics. And that's the page we've just seen. This one, like I say, Bolland can't. The zipper tone has actually made it through. Here's our setup for gazing into the Fist of Dread. We know that's the one that's coming, don't we? Unfortunately, it's not Mean Arena with Steve Dillon's artwork on it. So, but at least he'd done the cover. He'd done the cover. And obviously all the usual. I mean, this was all new because obviously of the 3 new. And now here we get to one of the most iconic. We're getting to one of the most iconic panels of all times, guys. All the action kicking off. And again, it was a 3. I think this was a 3-parter. You know, he's saying gaze into the face of fear, and it's been set up in a previous issue. And look at that. That's a panel. It's that. That is the panel I'm on about. No, it might have been a 4-parter actually. Now I'm looking at it. This is a decent bit of colouring. Maybe not the blues on that, but it's a decent bit. Like I say, this is all the action kicking off, isn't it? Look at that. That is how it was. This panel was represented into that cotton. That was tough. But it's pure comics. It's pure comics. Again, a little bit, you know, is it a little bit tongue-in-cheek or is it iconic? I'll leave you to decide. And in the next issue, 228, I don't know if it wraps up in issue 228. Look who's on the cover. A new future war story. Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Dave Gibbons. I don't know why they haven't done a Dave Gibbons Apex edition. Hopefully that's on the way. Because here we are. Let's just linger a moment on the first appearance of Rogue Trooper in 1981. Setting everything up. And just Dave Gibbons, as always, making it look easy. Brilliant. Brilliant. Ezquerra, as always, on Judge Dredd. And here we go. Centre pages for Mr. Bolland. Hitting Billy Carter block with everything they've got. Translating well from the board to the comic. You know, it's not losing anything in black and white, this stuff. I don't think so anyway. I don't think it's losing anything at all in Bolland's hands. And obviously, you know, it's just becoming, I don't want to say standard because that makes it sound like, you know, it's something less than it is, which is excellent. Here we go. She's, you know, Anderson's taking them back into Dead World. Million, you know, it's too much for her. Too much. This was all exciting. This was great. Just, you know. Love the fork. Right in his shoulder pads. Here marks the spot where the last lawbreaker was given justice. And a really weird last panel, I think. When you just, after this, I think I'll put in for that sick leave, says Anderson. After this, I just may join you, says Dredd. And the face, like a really, perhaps, you know, I don't know what process they went through to, I love the holes and the burn marks in there, by the way. But the thinking behind, was it such a dark 4-issue story arc that they just had to do this right at the end? you know, make it that kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not sure whether that works or not. But obviously everything like this does. Again, pure Bolland stuff, that angle. This is great. You can almost, I mean, they've got the scream in the background, but you can almost hear bones snapping before they fade into ash. Just great scenes, and how much is crammed in. How long it'd take them all to tell this story these days. And then we're on to a centre spread for Blockmania, which will lead on to the Apocalypse War. And again, Bolland, look, he's still even doing a street mob in Mega City 1. You know, there aren't any ugly women about. I don't know, he just makes them, he gives them lovely jaw. There's nothing wrong with that. Come on, it's comics. Gives them a lovely jawline. Inside, kicking it off, is Mick McMahon, which I've done. With a very, very different take on Dredd, really. You know, the uniform is there, but a very, very different take. But anyway, if you, the link will be in there for my McMahon Apex edition, and I've got to do the Dredd one. I've done his 2000 AD one. Yeah, a very different artist, very different style, but there are some tropes that are just, they're all there, like I say, and it was down to Bolland more than McMahon. Got to say that. So that was kicking off the story. Here's the sci-fi special from that year. I'm loving the colours here. I must admit, they really did dim it on the cover, didn't they? Whatever printing process it went through, it really did dim it down. That's a beautiful piece of art and colouring, obviously art-wise. I like this different effect rather than the zipper tone. Just a bit of colouring and this different effect he's doing to, you know, get the shape of the light in there. I don't think there's anything of note in here, to be fair. The earlier annuals and specials weren't up to much. So very, very of the old school UK comic industry where they were very, very cheaply done. Mostly reprints and prose stories, and a nice Colin Wilson story artwork in here. I don't know, the script's staccato. It's unusual. Have to do a little bit of research on that, I think. Whether they was giving him a tryout. Again, it might have been because he was cheap, and this is I think this is one of the few original stories in the book. You know, it's just, oh no, there's a nemesis at the back, Kevin O'Neill. So, you know, not too bad. Is this a little Bolland motif? You know, these lines here on the bottom of the helmet and the lights off the top. I suppose you could call Colin Wilson's artwork Bolland-esque, really. But anyway. The return of Max Normal. He was a character that was in the very, very earlier issues of 2000 AD. And yeah, they've just injected him into Blockmania. Nice cover. And again, more mean and moody. Nice rain-soaked artwork from Bolland. This is all in black and white here. There we go. He's that's the chief judge there, making the announcement. Dredd's on the streets. Nice and evocative. I like all the raindrops here. Just in the puddle. Hasn't done anything anywhere else, but in the puddle is enough. Until it starts flooding, that is. Again, one of Bolland's favourite. You know, we're seeing all these all Bolland's tricks, and don't get me wrong, I'm not. You know, all the motifs of his work are here. By now, you know, the little even the fists. You know, just very very, you can tell that it's precise. You can, I mean, I'm assuming he's got all the reference in the world for fists and hands and stuff, you know, as only Bolland can do. These kind of panels just somehow sets them up beautifully. These are certainly different. That's, I don't think it's lost it again. It's a little bit darker than it was intended, except for the red. The red's lighter, and then, yeah. Anyway, I still think that was a decent cover for the 83 annual. The year before, it was Bolland as well. Just for you completists, you Bolland nuts out there, obviously selling it on, I don't know why they put Tharg on it, to be fair. Black Hawk must have been a popular character, but the perennials, you know, Strontium Dog and Dredd are there a year later. And at the time, early 80s, comics were really moving up in the world. And this magazine was published in, I don't know if it was all over England, but I think it was just London. We were obviously talking about pre-internet days. So this advertised what was out and about going on in town, including other things, you know, book reviews and stuff. But, you know, Britain's new comic book boom. This was obviously Dredd, Watchmen, Dark Knight Returns, Sandman, you know, all that kind of stuff. Maybe was it all that, or am I too early for the whole comics growing up bit? Or was they just focusing on Dredd? You know, here's that iconic panel again, and this, you know, Brian Bolland, already mentioned in here. This is more about 2008. Oh, and yeah. Now it says here, 2008, originality lies in the talent of Bolland. Mike McMahon was already done. Kevin O'Neill, which we will do. And who is sadly with us no longer, Kevin O'Neill. No, this is concentrating on the English stuff. Sorry, guys. I'm Warrior. They mentioned Camelot 3000 in here, which obviously Bolland went on to do. But this is Dredd, 2000 AD. Here's the mega special #1, 1988. So we're leaping forward a little bit here, 6 years. This would have been the era of all those comic I mentioned, so I do apologise if I was a little bit preemptive with that. I mean, that's a fairly represented. This complete Dredd edition I did not have in my collection, but here we go with the. You can tell that it's the early stories with Max Normal, you know, the flab-on stuff with the what did they call them? I forget now. Rooster, Red Island Roost, Rhode Island Red, from one of the Dredd annuals, the 8 Gang, from one of the early stories. Bolland's cover for Amazing Heroes, and there it is coloured. The European invasion, this is more like what I'm talking about, where all the English writers and artists, you know, Alan Moore, Bolland, Dave Gibbons, were all going over to America. And here he is, Dredd interviewing. That is a picture of Brian Bolland by himself, a self-portrait. So before the Titan Eagle years, obviously he'd done a bit of work, not a lot, on the Judge Dredd magazine. But what does Bolland do? The Britsit babes. These are 2 undercover cops in Britsit. You know, obviously the London version of Bigger City. And he just can't resist it. I love that. That's probably why he was great at doing the was it Catwoman covers he did? But yeah, I just thought I'd show you that, guys. I just dug that out while I was researching everything else. Just quickly before we go on to the like more Dredd and the Titan Eagle years, just quickly I'll show you this, the Bolland strips. I don't know what year this was. that he brought this out, but this is more of his late 90s, 99. First printed in 2005. And these were published in DC Comics in Strange Adventures. Some of these. I'll just quickly flick through them. I think some of this as well was in maybe one or two was in Epic. But again, you know, I think these stories are close to his heart and a little bit. Can I say? Am I permitted to say self-indulgent? A little bit cheeky. See what I did there? Yeah, I don't know. Not so sure, but I just thought this was a weird one. Again, it's pure Bolland, the actress in the story of The Actress and the Bishop. I don't know if any of you have ever seen this style of his cartooning he's ever done. I can't say I'm a fan. I just thought I would show this as an oddity. And then suddenly Bolland's back. Here and here, you know, he's back and then he's scratching again. So, and there were just some really, really nice illustrations in the back. Oh, this is the stuff that was in Strange Adventures or whatever it was for DC. And you can see he's back. You know, this is the Bolland we know and love. With stuff like this. That's a great actress and the Bishop, and look at the detail in the imagery on what they're doing here. Thwap, giving him a smack, and no, I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, he's having a good old laugh. These are really unusual, especially that one. It's quite powerful, but obviously you'd have to sit there and think about why for a while, I think, on that one. You really would. I mean, juxtaposition is a word I'd like to use. Anyway, let's concentrate on Dredd. It's nice to see these sketch covers. And they were for the books. Have I got any here? Judge Dredd? Nope. Cast Earth. No. Here we go. I mean, it looks like issue 1 came out pretty near the actual sketch, unless this was like, you know, the 16th sketch or whatever. Here's the actual cover. I think that is one really impactful covers, and these Eagle Comics repackaged for the American market back in the 80s, 83, were done by Titan. Yeah, I think they're collectible now just for the covers. But yeah, from sketch to original to that's quite interesting little journey there. Yeah, look at this. I mean, that is pretty much nearly there, and including he's leaving all the. He's obviously been given a brief. I don't know if someone would have drawn that in, maybe the letterer or Brian did that, just so they know, you know, that's an impactful issue 1. That is, and here's the old Jigsaw Man back from one of the previous pages, obviously to advertise one of the other issues. What is interesting is they had to reformat the artwork. As we've seen, the old 2000 ADs were just a wider format. This is the American format. I think it's interesting to see this splash page is obviously a cover, and you can see how they have used the same picture in a different way, as in it's longer. You can see the bricks. You can see that the reformatting. I think the inside, some of these panels had to be chopped, because when Quality Comics done took over from Titan, stroke Eagle Comics, they done a really bad job. And you would get this format artwork kind of like on these pages, so there would, oh, it was terrible, horrible job, but they saved a load of money on printing, but didn't last long. So I just thought that was interesting to see how they was reformatting stuff. As always, you know, in issue, there's his cover for issue 2, there's issue 3. Judge Death's always going to be the star of the show. He was in issue 1 of this reformatting. Obviously the first three-page story arc, and then obviously they couldn't wait to get the next part of just to keep the momentum going. I love this effect here with the on his elbow pads. I love that effect with the nails. Here's that's Bolland's artwork inside as well, because up until there's issue 3, this one as it was coloured when it first came out. I think it's a nice colouring job. Nice colour. That is a very exotic cover, and I think by issue 4, they weren't running out of Bolland artwork, to be fair, but to keep it, you know, we've got a bit of Bolland. This is mostly Bolland, this issue, but then you've got Ron Smith continuing on the Father Earth storyline, which is obviously the cover is for, and then you've got McMahon in the back, because it leads on to the Cursed Earth saga. So, and that wasn't all Bolland. Bolland couldn't do it. Couldn't do it all. So Mick McMahon took up a lot of the reins on that. But again, it's just still interesting to see. That works better in colour, that, to be fair, because you can see her red dress, the kind of like a Sergeant Rock homage there, and Dredd and Spike Harvey Rotten there. Satanus was in the Cursed Earth. That was a nice link with Flesh that we saw the story, the Bolland cover for Flesh that we saw in one of the very early issues of 2000 AD. The character in that old One Eye, she gives birth to this one, Satanus, and they just linked. They linked the stories nicely. That was the issue 6, obviously before that. Not a lot going on there, but just a little bit of a trip back in time when they sacked the president for incompetence and put him in suspended animation, and the judges took over. Happy days. I'm not going to get any more political than that. I'll leave that to Pat Mills and John Howard. There we go, that's the cover in colour. And like I say, these have become, I mean, that's a very crude sketch. I can see that being a more Bolland. Here's the sketch for this cover. Good old Otto Sump. I've only got the first 10 covers of these guys, so I'll just give you a little selection there of this gorgeous Brian Bolland artwork, which is what you're all here for. Judge Fish, that's from the cow, the Judge cow that we've been through the storyline, where he appointed a fish as a judge. So yes, you can tell whose tongue was firmly in their cheek when they wrote those stories, can't we? And again, this is all the gorgeous, precise, you know, technically correct lines that we've come to know and love from. I like the fact that someone's put the water dripping down off the Dredd logo as well. Just I like those little bits like that. You know, the art director's actually got some imagination. Love it. And the fact that these would have to be stuck onto the boards. You know, we're still mid-80s here. He's doing a little bit of a homage here, Bolland, I believe, anyway. Please, Brian, I hope you watch this. Please let me know if I'm wrong. But this looks like a little homage to Carlos Ezquerra, his artwork, or who he did the Apocalypse War. All of it. And I think that was Carlos Ezquerra's big return to the character he helped to create. And I think that cover is his homage to him, his little wink. Because it's just Ezquerra's style. It's Ezquerra-esque, if there is such a, if I'm permitted to use such a word. I think that's, again, another impactful cover. You can just tell why he's one of the most sought after comic cover artists of all time. I mean, something like that. If you're going to sell a Judge Dredd comic, I think that's the way you do it. I love this Russian one when they go to Sob City. The storyline is obviously in Sob City. Yeah, just great. Again, the sense of humour that come through in all the early 2000 AD stuff. Here's the fatties with their belly wheels for another issue. Judge Anderson's always going to go down well. I like the spooky feel. They've literally put, you know, kind of like a horror comic feel to it, but the look of cynicism on her face. Again, that sense of humour. That would have been a cheeky cover, wouldn't it? I've already done that joke, haven't I? That's what I was trying to think of earlier on with the Jigsaw Man. Was it a Jigsaw Man? When I was saying about the one with the mushrooms on? Anyway, look how beautifully precise and detailed. And Bolland would have inked all this as well, penciled it and inked it. And I do believe that this would have all been brush as well. Like these little ticks added on. Look, the kid's got the bomb there. And time's ticking by, kid. I don't know if that's how Dredd's voice would go, but he sounded a little bit rural then, didn't he? Rural England. So apologies for that. Again, comedy comes through, and for Smashing Biplanes 40 years. I love it. I really do. And I think that's what has kept 2000 AD fresh for so long. And these characters, DR and Quinch, Alan Moore, Strontium Dog, and his partner, Wolf Sternhammer. These characters, obviously Dredd, not Walter the Wobot. Look at old Hershey up here, and I don't know if old Anderson's getting jealous of, or just, is that a sardonic look on her face, looking at her, giving Hershey a day? I don't know. But again, Bolland, he can't do ugly women. Yeah, if I get to interview you, Brian, I will ask you why you can't do ugly women. And I'm only joking on that one. Who wants to see, you know, that in comics, in fantasy, etc., etc. A bit like women don't want to see ugly men, so unless they're aliens. But I suppose on his planet he's quite handsome. Anyway, I digress. It was weird. It was weird at the time seeing someone else other than Ezquerra doing Strontium Dog. I will say that. I know this is only one cover, but it is just a little bit. Where Ezquerra was so well known and synonymous with that character, but Bolland pulls it. You know, I'm not saying it didn't look any good. I'm just saying. Gronksies, bless his little heart, his little delicate heart. Right, the early years. A Future Shock from issue 52, so within the first year of 2000 AD. So this is written 1978. And you can see, like I've said all the way through, actually, that he came out of the gate more or less with his style almost fully developed. Obviously, he's obviously refined it over the years, but you know, he's almost came out fully formed. But in my humble opinion, I really do. Like, and he's not the only one. There's artists that develop their style throughout the years, and there's others that just come out of the gate. They're happy, they're comfortable, and they can. Well, I was going to say rattle the work out, but Bolland was, you know, very painstakingly slow to become a millionaire from weekly comics. But like a lot of artists, you know, they had to put hours and hours and hours in. Here's the Walter the Wobot stuff. Yeah, they must have had a few pages to fill, guys, because I can't summon up a lot of energy for this. It was a one-page comic-y kind of thing, but that Bolland did. Kevin O'Neill did Captain Klepp. Yeah, I didn't. I've got to admit, I thought it was a wasted page. Yeah, ha. Yeah, that's all I have to. As Forrest Gump said, that's all I have to say about that. I'm sure that Bolland had a laugh, because you can tell by the stuff in his Bolland Strips book that he likes kind of the cartoony side of things. You know, he likes. Perhaps that's a, you know, personal favourite of his, maybe. to have little characters like this, but no, it wasn't for me. Sorry, guys. So there you go. Just have a little look at What Were the Robot and Teddy Bears and the best comic book, but you know, ever, as I claimed at the beginning. Spinball, which was obviously when the UK comics were copying a lot of Hollywood films, so this would obviously be based on Rollerball. And they just want to have futuristic sports strip. They would require it in the UK. They would just want a sports strip. And again, this is from Action, and it's in that format again. It's not in the traditional British comics format. We're back to that, you know, that narrower. When I say traditional, I mean kind of like it would have been late 70s, mid-late 70s to 80s. But again, this is 1979, and you can see Bolland. Everything's there. Everything that we're going to come to know and love. You know, the speed, you know, these explosive, you know, whether it's bullets coming out of the back or something bouncing off someone's head, you know, it's recognisably Bolland in 1979. The little speed, you know, his little motion bits, the burst on the tyre, look like the bullet bursts on people's backs when the bullets rip through them. So the only thing he hasn't got yet is on these guys' helmets. He's not doing the Dredd kind of, even there. He's done more of a explosion of the light's reflection rather than, you know, those round circles he would do, like even here. But again, it's great to see just where he's blacking in with a brush and ink all round here. Love it. Love it. These books are such a good, well produced thing. And that, guys and girls, is it, apart from leaving you with the Valiant Summer Special cover, which is worth getting for the Bolland cover alone. And again, quirky characters that he loves, that we know now he loves, you know, personally to draw. Yeah, thank you for sticking with me for so long. I know these are long, these are arduous, these videos, but once I get gassing, especially about an artist like Bolland, look at that, a nice close-up, seeing every minute detail of what he does. Look, every brush stroke. Oh, wow. And I will leave you with that, as I was saying. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to see other artists. Kevin O'Neill is up next, but if you want to see any other 2000 AD stuff specifically, let me know, because you know I'd love to do it. And until next time, I will now bid you all adios.